Managing properties in rural Alaska for over a decade, I've seen all types of tenants. So when Emily moved in, it was a relief, quiet, polite, and always paying rent early. Her husband was practically invisible. She handled everything herself. One night, Emily texted about a leaky faucet. It was late, almost 10 p.m. I said I'd fix it in the morning, but she begged, saying the dripping was driving her crazy. Reluctantly, I grabbed my tools and went over. When I arrived, her car wasn't in the driveway. Odd, but she mentioned working late sometimes. I let myself in with the spare key and called out. No response. The house was eerily spotless. Not a dish, not a shoe. It didn't feel lived in. Brushing off the unease, I found the leaky faucet in the kitchen. That's when I noticed the smell. Metallic, sour, and coming from the garbage disposal. Curiosity got the better of me. Shining a flashlight down the drain, I saw it. A tangled mass of long, wet hair. Gagging, I pulled back. People do weird things, I told myself. Maybe it was from cleaning a wig, but that smell stuck with me all night. The next day, Emily thanked me via text. I wanted to ask about the hair, but decided against it. Yet something about her perfect facade gnawed at me. That evening, I looked up her rental application again. Everything checked out. Steady job, no criminal record. Still uneasy, I searched her name online. That's when I found it. An article from 6 years ago. Woman involved in home invasion incident. Emily had fought off an intruder in her apartment. The details were gruesome, but the attacker had been caught and jailed. He was released last month. A chill ran through me. No wonder she lived so privately, in a house on the edge of the woods. She was probably terrified he'd come back. A few days later, Emily called, panicked. She thought someone had been in her house. Things felt off. Pillows slightly moved, her toothbrush angled differently. No signs of forced entry, but she begged me to install a second deadbolt. I agreed. 2 nights later, the police called me. There had been an incident at Emily's property. When I arrived, officers were everywhere. One pulled me aside. We found a body in the crawl space, he said. It's been there a while. My stomach dropped. Pooh. Still identifying him, he replied. Then I saw Emily, sitting calmly in the back of a police car. Her hands rested neatly in her lap, her head tilted slightly, as if listening to music only she could hear. Her eyes met mine, cold, unblinking, knowing. That's when I remembered the article. The photo wasn't just Emily on her apartment steps, it showed officers wheeling out a body. The headline wasn't about her surviving an intruder. It read, "Local dentist arrested in connection to crawlspace body discovery." The man in the crawlspace hadn't been an intruder, and suddenly I understood. Emily wasn't the victim. She never was.